I'm Dr. George Khoury at Advanced Health Chiropractic, and I'm here with Gene Mira, a patient of mine and also an incredible human being. Gene is the strength and conditioning coach for St. Mary's College, and he oversees all the athletes there, as well as previously he was a strength and conditioning coach for Cal, Berkeley, and San Jose State. So Gene has years and years of experience in the field of conditioning and strength, and looking from his size here, he's also pretty much the strongest person in the world that I know, and he is just competes with the strongest people in the world in powerlifting. That's where he gets his size from. The reason I'm doing this interview today is, one, I'd like people to find out a little bit more about how important strength and conditioning is and how it ties into chiropractic and the healthy lifestyle. A lot of people, Gene, they think that just going out for running all the time is going to change their life and make them healthier, but we know from true research that long distance running and increased cardio actually causes catabolism or destruction of bone and muscle and damage to the body. So there are, of course, benefits to running, but moderate running, not extreme running. We know that that resistance training increases muscle strength and growth, which increases metabolism, which also increases the length of the ability of the body to burn calories and function. So I just want to get some input from you and to share with the people that are going to watch this. What do you think about all that, and what input you have?
Yeah, we do a lot of different styles of training. With strength and conditioning, we basically are preparing the athlete for their sport, or better prepare the athlete for their sport. And it used to be, like you said, you go out and run miles to get in shape, and you lift a little weights, and things have sort of improved, training methods now, and now we can get training effects strictly in the weight room. And do very little conditioning with running. I know in my basketball group, we purposely do very little running because they play so much basketball. They're running and jumping all the time. The last thing we want to do is go have them run and jump some more.
Absolutely. It causes more injury, right? It leads to more damage.
Exactly. So, we can handle all their metabolic conditioning, with different things in the weight room if we wanted to, or dragging a sled, or pushing a prowler, or swimming. I mean, there's things that we can do now that we can get a training effect without beating their body up.
Absolutely. And just to share with our audience is that I actually train this way as well. So I get a lot of my cardio from pulling a sled up and down the street. I'm not running, but when you're pulling 100 or 150 pounds behind you, you're getting a major cardiovascular effect without the pounding on our joints. And as we are bigger people, I'm tiny compared to him, but sometimes that running causes a lot of pounding. But one of the things that I find really interesting is that, for example, for basketball players, they need to jump really high. And what's interesting is how just doing a deadlift, which is one of the most powerful strengthening exercises on the planet. A deadlift, you never leave the ground with your feet. For those of you who don't know what a deadlift is, look it up. They actually can jump higher by doing a deadlift. So just like you mentioned, strength and conditioning can actually, the way we do things will transfer. And what are the words I'm looking for? It actually, it correlates to something completely different by doing it from this level. And so for some people, strength and conditioning is also known as powerlifting, or there's parts of it that are powerlifting, but I like to use the word functional lifting. And what that means is, and I'm sure you would agree, that when we are functionally lifting, we're doing movements that are going to help us in our daily life. So you imagine a deadlift and a squat are going to be able to help someone be able to, still as they get older, to pick up something off the ground, to reach into cupboards. And now think about that, like your mom or your dad or older people. For example, my mother does all this training as well. And she's 75 years old, and she's able to function better, to be able to lift things, to move things, because of this kind of lifting and training. Now, of course, we don't have a 75-year-old person lifting 400 or 500 pounds. It's all relative to you as the person being trained. My suggestion, I'm sure you would agree with me, the best kind of training is functional lifting, or power lifting, or strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
It translates very well, and that everyone should look into hiring a coach to be able to do some something like that. Now, the place I work at is Reactive Gym in Pleasanton. They're awesome, reactivegym.com. You can check them out. Do you have any suggestions or anything?
That's a good place to go.
Yeah.
Go see Jesse. Go see Harry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And Paul, the owner, Paul
Yeah,
Southern,
Paul.
they're all awesome over there. But I just want to, tell you, this guy is amazing, and what he can do for people is just incredible. Is there anything else you want to share?
That's it.
Oh, that's good. Awesome. Very good. Thank you very much for your time. By the way, I want to transition to one thing we forgot to talk about, how that helps the chiropractic adjustments hold and stabilize. Right? I completely forgot about that. That's an important factor. So when we are getting adjusted, we're trying to change our posture. It's very important that we actually do strength and conditioning to help that. Most people go to a gym, and what are all those equipment? What do they do to most people?
Make them worse.
Make them worse, injure, right? Because they're not compound movements, they're not functional movements. It's just sitting on a machine and doing the movement. The reason most gyms have that is, number one, they don't have to train you. If you can just sit on a machine, no one has to watch you or babysit you. Unfortunately, that causes maladaptation, muscle imbalance, and actually leads to chronic problems later on.
Well, not to mention, most of the equipment companies that make those machines will tell you that they're made for a person that is about 5'8" to 5'10", and if you're not really within those parameters, it's not going to work for you. And a lot of people are not really 5'8" to 5'10".
Right, and that would cause damage on the joints because you're not fitting into the machine properly.
Yeah, the mechanics of the machine don't work. That taller person, shorter person. So yeah,
that makes total sense. Yeah, absolutely. Well, so if you're getting adjusted, make sure you're doing strength and conditioning. If you're doing strength and conditioning, you better make sure you're getting adjusted. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Awesome. Have a great day.